Adam let me host, and he gave me an unfortunate suggestion. Why don't you make the whole show about MPJ, he said. That's what I did. This is the DNBA show. Oh, yeah.
There it is.
And it's time. We're just waiting. It's got to time it. We haven't even popped up yet. What's up, everyone? And welcome in to the DNBA show. We're here in the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. You're hanging out and chatting with us in the Toyota chat. Thanks for hanging as always. Adam Mares, my analyst today.
That's right.
Not in the host seat. Thanks for being with me, brother. How are you?
Man, I'm passenger princess today in this Toyota Lounge.
Passenger princess. That's you. That's what I think of when I see you. Just
Can I be in charge of the stereo?
Yeah. Do you want to?
If you don't mind.
I just was going through photos in my phone this morning, and I found one for myself as a passenger princess, and you've pulled the car over to look at a bird through your binoculars.
I bet we saw it too.
We're predictable here on the DNBA show. Adam loves birds. I'm a big fan of Michael Porter Jr.
Did I tell you my new thing, though?
No.
Cryptic crosswords. Have you done these before?
No, I haven't.
They're super fun.
I don't even do normal crosswords.
I know, but these are like better than normal crosswords.
What makes them cryptic?
So they always have one part that is the clue and one part that is wordplay. You know, some kind of like pun or hidden meaning or something like that you have to decipher. I mean... So it's like almost two things in one. It's like the Jeopardy of crosswords.
Wow, I'm really excited that you found that.
I'm gonna show you them afterwards. If you think it's lame now, wait till you see how you solve them.
I can't wait for this to come up once a show.
Where are my
next month.
cryptic crossword homies at? Let me know.
Yeah, if you're getting older, faster every day, sound off in the chat. So yeah, Adam had a lot going on today. I got a text last night that said, "Hey man, I'm gonna need you to host and plan the show tomorrow." And Adam had a funny joke. He said, you should just make the whole thing about MPJ. I didn't think he was kidding. So that's what I did.
It was the most predictable thing ever.
I planned a full hour of MPJ Day. But to set the stage, man, why are we doing this? Because I saw some positive feedback on an episode we did about the best shots from Jamal Murray. And it was nice for us to go back and look, it's been a tough summer for Jamal. It's been a tough summer talking about Jamal. And I think it was fun for some people to relive some of the peaks, the highlights, because it's only been 1 year where they fell short of the goal, and these are still our guys, man. So I think it's just fun to dive back into all they have done for us.
Yeah.
I think we can do that with MPJ today. What do you think?
I think we can do it, man.
Cool, man. So we've already done Murray's best shots of his career. I put together a little list here. I've got 10.
I have not seen this list, so I'm going to hear it live.
Of my favorite shots from Michael Porter Jr.'s career. Chat, please sound off. Adam's going to critique my list, I'm sure, but if I've forgotten something, holler at us.
Are you going in reverse order here?
I'm going to go in reverse order. Do you remember this year, guys?
This year? No.
Against the San Antonio Spurs, and I know it's this year because Wemby was on the court. It's not the one they blew in San Antonio.
Thank God.
It's the one they almost blew in Denver. And the Nuggets, it's a tie game. Christian Brown has it on a fast break, and he dribbles, and he's got a lane, but he sees Victor Wembanyama. And so what does he do? He holsters it. He does the probe guard dribble, backs it out, finds an open Porter. Porter hits a go-ahead three to make it 98-95. Why I love this shot so much is because Chris Marlowe's call, he is heartbroken, crestfallen that Christian Brown turns down the open layup. No! Oh, he finds Porter. Clutch three from Porter. He hadn't hit threes that game, but it was one of the big crowd pops of the season last year. It was one of the clutch MPJ shots that we've seen recently. So I just thought it was a fun one to sneak in there, an MPJ game winner.
I don't remember this, man. And as I'm Googling it, I'm not finding it.
Well, it exists. I'm going to find the link.
Man, this is a bummer that I don't remember one of the...
Chad definitely remembers this one.
Well, you
Chad
know I have a
definitely
bad
remembers
memory.
this one. Yeah, they're playing the Spurs, man, and Brown's got an open layup, turns it down. He finds Porter for one of those wide leg kicked, seemingly ill-advised threes, except it was cash, and he drains it. Saves them from blowing a game against the Spurs. Did not save them from their fate that season. But it was a great crowd pop and a big moment. And I just thought it was really, really fun, man.
Well, dang it, man. Now I have to see it. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I'll find it.
I'll be so surprised.
No, I'll put it in here. I just like that one, man, because Porter, we'll talk about this later in the show, for however much he's involved, it's not often late in the game.
Yeah, where do you think, like, Jokic and Murray are two of the best closers in the NBA. Both of them are clutch.
Yeah.
Both of them have a two-man game that works. But Michael Porter does have a handful of game winners, and he also, in my opinion, has proven to be clutch.
Yes.
He just never is involved. He's, I mean, like everyone else, like Aaron Gordon and KCP last year and Mike Porter, they're all just spacers, and every now and then they're the ones that get the ball. But to me, the finale oop was Aaron Gordon, right? We had that. He's a good finisher, although it's a dunk, so I mean, come on. And then Michael Porter to me is like a really good closer as well. I don't know. It's not like you're going to run anything to get him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Denver needs to change their clutch time offense, but he is a nice weapon.
I think that the way I've framed this, I was thinking about this last night. The way that Porter is clutch is that we talk about this with all other shooters and role players in the league. It's very, very, very hard to not touch the ball for a long stretch of the game and then take and make a big open shot in the fourth. It is hard.
Yeah.
Guys want to be in rhythm. And I think one of Porter's sneaky skills is that, yeah, man, we know the Porter quarters happen and then he gets quiet for a bit. But he can have been out of the game for 5 to 6 minutes.
Yeah.
You can still trust him to shoot an open three late in the fourth.
Yeah.
I think that's largely true. Maybe not in every playoff series, but across his career, I think that's...
All right, what are you more confident is going to go in? Jokic, pick and roll, catches it on the roll, buzzer beater, contested floater.
That.
Jamal Murray, pick and roll, turns the quarter, contested pull-up jumper.
Yeah.
Michael Porter, contested, but open but contested, like a guy running out at him three on a kick out.
I actually think it's 1, 2, 3 in the order.
In that order? Okay.
But I do think that is 3.
Okay.
Like we think of the finale oop was a great segue here because we think of the ways that Gordon is involved organically in what they're trying to do. But I just think it's happened more than we think. That, oh man, the ball found Porter in a big spot and he hit a big shot.
All right, let me add 2 more for you.
Yeah.
Wide open Christian Brown, nobody near.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon goes to the foul line, down 1.
MPJ.
MPJ's 3.
Over those two
Still,
by a lot. I would say Christian Brown next.
Really open three-pointer for him, wide open.
He's like, what, a 39% open three-point shooter?
Yeah, but in the clutch.
What is Aaron Gordon's clutch free throw?
I know.
Although he's hit some
well, but if
big
you're
ones.
down 1,
Yeah.
like the odds of going 1 of 2, you're going to tie,
You're
go
right.
to OT.
I'm still taking the Christian Brown 3. Love you, AG.
Let me know in the chat. I'm curious. So Jokic contested floater, Murray contested pull up, MPJ run out 3, Christian Brown wide open, Aaron Gordon down 1 has to hit 2 free throws. Or gets 2 free throws. I love this, actually. I think it's great.
We should
It's like
rank
pretty
all
even.
of the clutches. Yeah. I like this from the Oso Blanco. That's what I was just saying. It's like, yeah, he fades in second half, but then sometimes at the end of the game, you trust him. I like the question from Astrid. Should that change and involve MPJ more? I think we'll get to that in this episode. You guys gave us some good...
I will say, I mean, early on, just the question about the clutch, I just don't think you go away from your bread and butter in the clutch. Like, MPJ's part of the clutch. He's a floor spacer, and if you help over from him, he's going to get the shot. So
I honestly think it's less about a fundamental approach and honestly more of like, hey, you could have passed that one.
Yeah.
I don't think it's you got to change your offense, but don't forget about him, right?
Right.
Don't forget about him. This one's way too low already. Good stuff, Vote.
I don't even remember it. So
I haven't told you. Okay, all right. Well, no one remembers this one, and it's huge. A lot of people remember how poorly the last 4 games against Minnesota went for MPJ in the playoffs, and with good reason, because you know what, man? They went really, really poorly. You know what went arguably just as well? This series against the Los Angeles Lakers in round 1, where the Denver Nuggets struggled largely, except for Jokic and MPJ. And we all remember some big shots. One of my favorite ones, Game 5.
closeout game.
The closeout game. It's the third quarter. And LeBron James, the Lakers are down by the Lakers are up by 4 after a LeBron James fast break dunk. And Porter lets a 3 rip and the foul. I think Anthony Davis fouls him.
Yeah, fouls him and
This
one.
is late in the third quarter to tie it at 71. Obviously, the Nuggets would go on to win this game.
I don't remember the shot either, to be fair. I just watched it.
Sure. That's crazy to me. In the third quarter, there were a lot of big runs. And like LeBron gets this steal, throws down a thunderous dunk. Like it's not looking great. But yeah, Porter drills he's coming down on the fast break. It looks like he's going to pull up. He holsters it, finds Yoke.
Right
AD
back to
goes
him.
to double him right back to MPJ. Big leg kick, big 3, and he's fouled. And that's to tie it at 71. It's not a game winner, man. But Porter had so many big shots in this series, and I wanted to get at least one in there.
All right.
And this was look, man, he remembers this one.
Game changer right there.
Game changer. I'm one of the guys that remembers pretty much every big game of Porter's career. Big
I believe
shot.
it.
And this was one, man. This was one. We can't forget how good he was in that series. I know Lakers fans haven't forgotten. This was a huge shot. It didn't decide the game, but it kept the Nuggets attached.
Yeah.
And as we know, Jamal Murray would have a say in how that one ends. Another big clutch shot from MPJ in the playoffs.
This next one's great.
All right, so they're playing is it the Spurs or the Nets? It's
Spurs.
Spurs, right? They're playing the San Antonio Spurs. And Porter's having a big first half.
Yeah.
And he throws down a contested left-hand dunk. Lefty down Zach Collins' throat.
Yeah.
Now, you may remember this for how good of a dunk it is.
I do.
There's another reason why you might remember it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, he gets in his face. He gets very upset about it.
Yes, Zach Collins gets very embarrassed. And he runs up on MPJ from behind him.
MPJ does do a little taunting. He kind of but not a crazy amount. I'll be honest, I would have been also pissed if I was at MPJ put him in the perfect spot because he is talking trash.
Yeah.
He did dunk on him.
Yeah.
He is dancing on him, but not so much that it really warrants a clapback.
Just enough, and then he's back down the floor.
But he took the bait anyway, and it almost just makes Collins look worse.
Oh, it definitely made
Especially because
Collins
he keeps having
worse.
to do his hair. Like,
yeah, so he runs up on MPJ from behind. One thing you guys might remember about Porter, 3 back surgeries. And he gives him a little shove.
Yeah.
And Porter does not like this. And he turns around and he grabs him by the throat and shoves him out of his face.
yeah, it was great.
Throughout the Jokic tenure, we have seen various, these guys are not as soft as the rest of you think moments. To me, this was Porter's individual moment. Zach Collins thought it was sweet. Zach Collins thought Porter was the kind of guy you could talk shit to. Porter dunks on him. Porter grabs him by the throat, throws him out of his face. He gets ejected. Worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it.
It's also another Ken versus Ryu situation. 2 guys is same build. Do you see this? This is them standing side by side.
This is
same
a great
guy.
point. Great guy.
Same guy.
Yeah, same
It
guy.
would have been a very good fight.
I loved that one, man.
That's
I
a good
loved that
one.
I always love when the Nuggets show that they're just tougher than people think.
Zach Collins also somehow a hated player that we don't have that much history with, but all Nuggets fans hate him.
He's actually like a sneak. I don't think you can name 7 players before a Nuggets fan goes,
I know.
Zach Collins.
Zach Collins, F
I
that
really
guy.
hate that guy.
Yeah.
Well, it was the gesture he did to the
Yeah,
crowd.
it's so
too,
gross.
Right? Hey, one of the games in Phoenix that the Denver Nuggets lost to the Phoenix Suns on their championship run in the second round, there was a near late comeback. Now, it didn't happen.
This one's low.
It didn't happen. You know what did happen, though? About 2 minutes left in the game, down by 8. Porter cuts hard, drives, jumps, yams it on Kevin Durant.
Man, another Ken versus Ryu moment.
Yeah, that's right, dude.
He only dunks on guys that are exactly his size and shape.
This is a big-time dunk on a big-time player. And honestly, it cuts it to 6-1 with the foul. This was a huge... They did not win this game. They
didn't.
almost won this game. It was a near comeback. But we all love when Porter gets a chance to put someone on a poster. It was Kevin Durant. And if I could just retroactively apply some extra juice to that...
Yeah.
Remember when Kevin Durant told you all that none of you matter? Do
Yeah,
you remember
that's right.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Porter dunked on him. That was sick.
Yeah,
That was sick.
that was sick.
What do you think so far, man?
So I feel like that one's a little low because that one's so memorable. But you are right. It's like you're adding the context that they lost,
That's the thing.
which is like I get it, but I mean, it's still a great dunk.
Oh, it's definitely one of the best.
dunk.
It's one of the best
And it's
makes of
Kevin
his
Durant.
career.
You know what I mean? Like
No,
it's not
it's
that Kevin Durant's this
perfect.
great. I mean, he is a very good rim protector, but it's just awesome that you got a legend.
Well, yeah, and also a lot of ultimately erroneous Kevin Durant comparisons for Porter early in his career. It was just fun. It was just
Yeah.
a fun moment to see him
right.
just dunk on him. And, you know, Porter doesn't get many chances to line it up and use his vertical with everything that's happened, but that was one. So super, super fun.
There you go.
What do you think about taking a break, man?
Oh, shoot. Let's do it. You know what? I didn't even prepare ad reads.
It's cool. I got you, bro.
Bro, doing everything today?
Yeah, dude. Come on. You said you were busy.
Man, what a guy.
Alyssa, do you know what the best sound in the entire world is? What is it? It's the sound of Red Hawk Roofing. Do you have that sound effect ready? Do you? Okay, Adam will do it manually for now. You just let it there it is. Yeah. If you hear that sound, it means one of two things. A, there's a hawk. Look out. There's actually a hawk around. Or B, Denver's best roofers are up on your roof making a difference. Red Hawk Roofing, best roofers in the city. They have joined the DNVR team. You've heard us talk about them a lot. That's because we like them a lot. These are very cool guys. They're great hangs. That's not the part you're interested in. You want to know how good they are at their jobs? That's fair. They're also good at that. Quality materials, decades of experience, quick response time. Colorado's best estimators and contractors, huge DNVR supporters. You can talk to them about us. You might have more fun talking to them about the Nuggets. You can tell by their logo. Big Nuggets fans as well. And my favorite part is they're not out to get you here. This is one of the industries where you might not know everything you need to know to spend efficiently as a customer. They do not want anyone to take advantage of you. They certainly don't want to. There are free, no obligation roof and property inspections, free in-depth photo reports for all inspections. It's hail season. You know this in Colorado. You're almost never safe, even if the sun's out. And you can't always see how bad the damage is to your roof from the ground. That's why you said those Red Hawk roofers up there. Supporting your local teams means supporting local businesses like Red Hawk Roofing. If you're looking for a new roof over your home or business, be sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com or call 720-771-8921. Tell them DNVR sent you.
You know what else?
What's that?
It's fall, and it's time for those fall glasses, which can even include ski goggles. I know a place where you could find them. ShadyRays.com. You get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for your outdoor adventures like bass fishing. They have the bass fishing goggles.
That's right.
You know what when I say bass fishing goggles, you know what I'm talking about.
Not at all.
You really don't?
I really
you can't
don't.
picture a guy fishing for bass and the type of giant glasses you have.
I grew up outside of a PetSmart.
Yeah, but you do know, like, just pop culture. You know, you're like the reference if I told you what a bass fisherman looked like.
The goggles are flying over my head, but I can picture the rest of the fellow.
They have hundreds of options to choose from, not just bass fishing. They also have aviators, navigators, my personal style. Hundreds to choose from, and you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. They probably even have some in your team's favorite color, so maybe that's what you want. You're like, you know what? I just got Broncos season tickets. I need some orange glasses to wear with my orange jersey every time I go. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. If you head to ShadyRays.com and use the code DNVR, you get 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
I've tried them. I like them. I've lost them. I've kept them.
I believe that.
I've done everything with them. I love my Shady Rays.
Have you broke them?
Of course. Man.
And then you get them replaced.
Of course. All right. This was actually the other shot that I was ready to tease up earlier. We did Jamal Murray's best shots, yeah?
We did.
Do you remember what happened in game 2?
He hit a game winner.
Yeah, I think Anthony Davis, Jamal Murray hit a shot.
Yeah.
That's what we remember. Do you remember what happened before Jamal Murray hit a shot?
I don't.
That game was chaos. And I'll tell you exactly what happened once my computer loads. I put the wrong link in there.
You did. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Do you remember Jokic the Nuggets are down by 3 late in the 4th. Jokic is actually kind of selling a little bit. He throws this really awkward, ugly pass to Aaron Gordon. And Gordon, oh no, that's not what he does. I think he fakes the shot. And Gordon fights for this offensive rebound. You remember this clutch offensive rebound? He rips it out of his hands. He's falling out of bounds.
That's right.
And he kicks it
Jokic tries to do the heave.
Yeah. Tries to get his call late in the game. We're not
dumb.
used to that.
You're right. I do remember this.
We love Jokic, but what the hell, man?
Yeah, that was rough.
Gordon with a all-time hero offensive rebound saves it. He's falling out of bounds.
Yeah.
And he finds one Michael Porter Jr.
Scoped it
drains
perfect.
A game-time
You're right.
3.
That was huge. That's a great one.
And he lets out a huge scream. We also don't get a lot of that from MPJ. And Murray has that moment. Murray steals the day. But
he really does. Poor Mike, man. He is so many times the table setter.
That series was about MPJ and Jokic.
That shot put him in position. You're right.
And look, Murray made those shots and gets credit for those shots. You have to make those. They're huge. But it doesn't happen if Porter doesn't hit this huge shot.
That's a good one.
And I just like, the reason why I put this one and the other one in there, it's just easy to forget now. These weren't just Murray, Jokic, set the table, anyone can hit these shot moments. These were big shots in a playoff series when, as we've learned since from KCP, Nuggets' confidence wasn't really there. Their legs weren't really there. Porter was ready to go. This is his biggest shot of the series and one of the biggest shots of his career.
Absolutely. And it is cool. He has so much momentum now against the Lakers that I feel like it becomes a meme sometimes. When you dominate a specific team and then the fan base acknowledges and the players, LeBron has acknowledged it, it's almost like he's going to be, knock on wood, he's going to be great against the Lakers forever now.
Forever, yeah. LeBron has a great quote. Michael Porter Jr. is a fucking laser. That's a direct quote from one of the greatest players of all time. Telling you, if you ever find yourself low on MPJ, talk to a Lakers fan. They haven't forgotten.
Yeah.
You know what I haven't forgotten?
Top 5.
Top 5 MPJ shots. And this one, man, is less about context. Well, there's a little context to
I think there's great context.
We're still waiting for MPJ to sort of have some breakout moments.
This is his rookie season, I believe.
His rookie season. And the Nuggets go on the road to Indiana. And Porter has himself a game. He barely misses any shots. Goes for nearly 30 points. But do you guys remember the absolute monster step back three he hit in that game? I think he covers like 4 feet.
That's what makes it a monster. Now, if I'm watching this correctly, it happens in the third quarter, and he's got Doug McDermott on him, which is kind of a funny anecdote. But yeah, it's a sidestep, which is kind of was his signature. He doesn't do it a whole lot anymore. I feel like he's taken this shot out of his arsenal in a way that's almost a bummer. But he sidesteps about 12 feet. And then he's also 7 feet tall and releases it up here after a 40-inch vertical. Like, it really is the most separation you can create without really a move.
And he, like, had barely missed anything all night. And this was our, wow, this guy really is a laser moment.
I do vividly remember the shot and vividly remember being like, is this guy going to be the number one? like, Yoke's really good, but this guy doesn't miss and he shoots from far.
I had just moved in with my girlfriend and then at the time, and she has this great video of me falling off the couch, absolutely losing my mind at that shot, because we had heard that when this guy got to get some shots up, when this guy first showed up and was playing pickup, they were calling him franchise before the injuries. And the step back Jay Kabloom, I think, as our friends at Altitude called it. Wasn't so sure about that name, but that's a good way to reference it. A huge shot and a huge game. That was maybe the most fun MPJ game, even to date.
It was definitely one of them because it was one of the first breakouts, and he did the whole arsenal. He had off the dribble, he had the sidestep, he had layups that were tough, reverse layup. That game really was something special, man.
Yeah, that was this guy. There was a reason this guy was considered a top prospect for the injuries reminder, and it was really, really cool. The Denver Nuggets 2 seasons ago won their only title, the first title in organization history. Michael Porter Jr. was a starter and had a good playoff run up until the finals. He didn't shoot very well in the finals, man. Did rebound well, defended well, did not shoot well in the finals. It's what a lot of people remember. Murray and Jokic stacked up moment after moment in that series. Porter, I think, really only gets one real moment, but I think the chat remembers what it is. It's game 5, late in the third quarter. Porter picks up a loose ball, takes it on the break, eats a bump from Duncan Robinson, absolutely loses the ball. Loses the handle is what happened.
I don't know if he does, man.
But it goes behind him.
I don't know if he loses
it. He
it.
puts it between his legs from behind him to regain possession, to maintain possession, and finishes the layup. And that cuts it to that actually ties the game in the third quarter of game 5.
Here's the thing, man, about MPJ. Because he'll throw a behind the back pass sometimes, but it always looks rigid and rough.
Yeah.
His jumper looks effortless, and his passing sometimes looks really like not right. I actually think he does this very intentionally, very like just he's improvising in the moment. It's not like he thought it out as he's running, but as he's going, his body does the right movement to get it there.
Right.
The thing is, it's just not smooth.
No.
And it almost makes it cooler that it's not smooth because it's like, like legs
like
flying.
Baby giraffe learning how to walk while it dribbles. Yeah, I mean, and here's the other thing. like Mike can't bend over, so that's kind of what it looks like when he gets low to put it between his legs. Maybe it was sloppy, maybe it was on purpose. Either way, it was Porter's big moment in the finals, I think.
Yeah.
And we loved it.
I did.
We loved it. Do you remember what the original Mike was?
Of course.
So the Nuggets are playing the Clippers in the bubble. And
big game.
It's a big game. Is it game 5?
Game 5.
3-1. And what did Porter...
You don't come back if this game doesn't happen.
No, and Porter was in the headlines, actually.
Michael Porter was in the headlines.
What he had done after game 4, he had mentioned, without naming himself, that maybe the Nuggets would be better off with a more egalitarian offense. If other guys could get some shots, if the ball spread around a little bit more. Everyone thought that was kind of an insane thing for someone of Porter's lack of cachet and experience to say, especially on a team with Jokic and Murray. And you know what? It was an insane thing to say until someone whispered in Mike's ear.
Something told him to shoot it.
Shoot it.
They said, yeah, Mike.
Yeah, Mike. And Porter hits a 360 no scope.
It's not a 360.
It's a 180 no scope. He's not facing the basket when he catches it.
You know what makes it hard though? Because he only turns a little bit, but it's left foot pivot, right foot comes back. Like usually if you're a shooter, you plant and you step into your shot. He almost steps backwards and then shoots it, which I mean NBA players can do, but it does make it more difficult of the types of shots. And then what else is difficult? It's a minute 12. He's going into a shooting motion at a minute 13. The Nuggets are up 2 and they're blowing the lead and a closeout game. Murray is orchestrating the offense, trying to get Yoke a post touch, and Porter's like taking too long.
It is an absolutely horrible shot. It's a bad shot.
I think they lose the game, honestly, if he doesn't make that shot.
Until it drains the bottom of the net.
I think they lose that game and that series just ends in 4 and 5 and it sucks.
And that's when it occurred to me that having Mike was going to be dope, but also going to be an adventure. Yeah. And an adventure it has been.
I'm telling you, he's not as quick of a trigger anymore because he has bought into the system. But I do think, and I'm hope for Michael Porter this year, is that he ramps up his aggressiveness on those shots. Like, pick your spots there. You don't want to do it too much. But I think he's overcorrected in a way that it's good to have a guy that the other team always thinks is about to shoot. It's good. And I just want him to get back to that a little bit because he makes them, I feel, the more his light is green, the more he makes, I feel.
They're right. And sometimes we talk about the weird indecision on his threes, and it's that no man's land of should I be Mike or should I be
He's got a Mike in one ear and a no Mike in the other. It's Michael Malone. And he's constantly like, what's the devil and the angel? He's like, it's a tough one.
That's exactly what's happening. And then sometimes he just does a 180 and shoots without looking. And it's a huge shot.
And it doesn't touch anything, barely touches the net.
It's a huge shot. It was not Porter's...
I can't believe that's not number 1, man. That's an all-timer.
It should be number 1.
That is the Mike.
Especially because number 1 doesn't exist.
Yeah.
We've talked about... I'm going to get to that. So that actually should be number 1. So just...
What do you mean it doesn't exist? Okay, all right.
Because it's not... He doesn't hit a series ender against Portland.
Really?
No,
right,
he hit 6 threes in the first quarter of that game.
But then he hits the last one. That's the only shots he made. The first quarter and the last shot.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He also has a moment in this same series, in the bubble series, where he has a big dunk. And I've listed 2 of the biggest dunks of his career so far on this list, but not the biggest one. Game 3, Michael Porter Jr., series is tied 1-1. And MPJ is going to find a lane, and he's going to see someone in the paint. That someone is Montrezl Harrell, and he should not have tried to take this charge.
Yeah.
Because Michael Porter Jr. puts him on the biggest poster of his career. And do you know what I remember most about this one?
No.
The cut to Michael Porter Sr. with his mask on, and he goes...
Oh, yeah. That's such a great reaction.
And goes... This was, at the time, and maybe even still to this point, the most athletic thing we had ever seen Porter done. And I vaguely remember not liking Montrezl Harrell at this point. Not sure what that was about, but Porter dunks on him, and then that's a big one. And then, of course, to beat Portland in 2021, Mike hits like 6 threes in the first quarter. You have the series clincher here. I do not remember a series clincher.
Man, I'm going to have to find it now. You're right. Because it's the one, it goes over. Robert Covington reaches to block it.
Yeah.
It goes over. It hits him right in the corner. But I
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I ran out of time on this list and messed it up. So.
Alrighty. Well, there you go.
But we are going to put the complete list out with highlights and stuff. We'll get something out on social. Maybe get something with clips so you can see it. But we got to figure out the Portland one. But everyone remembers that first quarter against Portland in Game 6. He hits like 5 or 6 threes. I can't remember what it was. He just couldn't miss. And again, man, like that's what I love doing about this exercise is that there are so many more of these Mike moments that we think, and that a handful of them, man, were in the playoffs. And sometimes we treat Mike like his success is so circumstantial. And look, man, he is mostly a Jokic merchant, but he's on a team with Jokic, and he's had more moments that I think he's created or dug at, or, you know, ripped from the jaws of defeat or whatever it is. Porter's had moments, man. And I just think that we underrate his ability to fit in while also finding the right times to fit out and be himself. It's not an easy tightrope walk.
Yeah.
Look at Bradley Beal in Phoenix, right? Like, there are a lot of guys who are better than Mike that can't play the role that Mike's played. And he's not perfect in it. But man, has he had some moments.
And all of his years have been different, man. And these last two, he really has reduced his role to like become more efficient in it. But I really do hope that this year he can expand that while maintaining the efficiency. Oftentimes that's the arc a player will go through, is scale down to perfect and then scale back up to expand. And I hope that we're in the expand part, because I think he's perfected this lower usage. Some of this is on Michael Malone, though, and I hope that Michael Malone looks at him and says, hey, it actually is really valuable. We need three-point shooting. It's really valuable if we maximize his gravity. I don't know if that's always standing in the corner, standing still, waiting to shoot. Oftentimes it is, but I don't know if it always is, and I hope that they find the way to up his importance to the team just a little bit.
I definitely agree with that. I think Big Namek has it in the chat. It was the overtime shot the game before in Game 5. I think that's right. Yeah. All right. We'll find that and make sure.
Which is also a series winner, to be honest, because that was the pivotal Game 5.
That's right. Is it time for another break, Alyssa? I never host, so.
It is time, but can I tell you something?
Yeah.
You know what I absolutely love? Camping. You got your coolers and everything. You need like really good gear. I have great gear. And one of the great pieces of gear that I have, Rugged Road coolers. You ever heard of these? They're unbelievable. One of their most unique features is that they float. They're so lightweight. Have you seen this with technology? You know how back in the day, if you had a cooler, it was a hunk of metal that weighed 1,000 kilograms. Not even pounds, it was kilograms. You had to take 7 guys to carry it out, and that was before you put anything in it. And then somehow if you sat on it, it would dent. And like it was the strongest, heaviest metal, but also the weakest metal, and it was just a pain. Now, so light, it literally can float in water. It's durable and dependable. You can sit on it. You could stand on it. Your Uncle Steve, who's a little overweight, can sit on it. It's not going to damage. It's versatile, perfect for a variety of outdoor activities, from fishing and tubing to camping and even tailgating. It is tailgate season, actually, people.
Oh, is it?
You want to get in on this? Those coolers are designed to meet the needs of every outdoor or sports enthusiast, or if you're like me, you're an enthusiast of both. So get ready for your summer adventures with Rugged Road coolers. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code DNVR for 10% off your order. Lightweight, durable, and always floating upright. Perfect on land or in water. So leave the old heavy cooler at home and get yourself a better cooler for the new season. Rugged Road, your ultimate outdoor companion.
If you want to get really Colorado, grab a Rugged Road, hit the great outdoors in our great state of Colorado, pack the cooler and everything else in a Toyota,
so true.
Man. In a
So
Toyota,
true.
A safe,
That's like peanut butter and jelly, man. Rugged Road and Toyota.
Fits right in that trunk with the rest of your camping stuff. Maybe you're just going hiking. Maybe you're just a day at at a lake, whatever it is, man. And whatever kind of Coloradan you are, wherever you're trying to go in the mountains or otherwise, Toyota has a vehicle for you. And Toyota, of course, the official vehicle of DNVR. You might be into trucks that Toyota is too. For generations, they built durable legends destined for greatness and perfect for Colorado. They want you to conquer off-road trails. They want you to be able to haul the weight of the world. They want you to not have to compromise. Maybe you want a nice balance between something that's smooth on the city streets of Denver and something that's safe and durable and sturdy to take up into the mountains. Maybe you're looking for more low and zero emission vehicles. Toyota has more of those combined than any other automaker. So again, no matter what kind of Coloradan you are, no matter where you're headed, head there in a Toyota. Do yourself a favor, visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe in Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Denver Nuggets. It's also the official vehicle of us here at DNVR. And we're back. Are we done with Michael Porter Jr. content? Absolutely not. Never let me host this show. I have put together a fun segment. It's not really new. It's just themed. Sometimes you catch us playing higher or lower, more or less. Other synonyms, really just the same thing, same game. We play a lot of higher or lower. We're going to play higher or lower today, Adam.
Okay.
But it's MPJ edition.
Okay.
I've got a set of stats for you. We'll go first. These are combined, regular season and playoffs.
Okay.
I also have some stats for you that are just regular season. We'll get some takes out. More importantly, we'll find out what you think.
Okay.
Last year, in the regular season and the playoffs, Michael Porter Jr. dunked 59 times.
49.
49 times.
All right.
What do you have? Where'd you get that?
I get it from Basketball Reference.
Are you sure that's not just the regular season?
There's playoff dunks?
Yeah.
Do they track playoff dunks?
Mine are from Basketball Reference, and it's the shooting splits, but they have the playoffs in there as well. So that's why I did it this way. So here you go. 50. So there you go. 10 dunks in the playoffs. 59 dunks total in 2024 regular season and playoffs combined. 88% of those were assisted. Go figure. Higher or lower? Michael Porter Jr. dunks this year, regular season and playoffs, 59.
I'm going to go higher. I actually think it's going to be a little bit higher, even though I think he's going to play fewer games. He plays 81 last year. I think he's going to play, and then, 2 rounds of the playoffs. I think he's going to play fewer regular season games by about 10. That would be my prediction. Probably somewhere around 70 games. But if you just look at the trend, he had 39 the year before, 49, by Basketball Reference regular season, 10 more. And I think that this offseason being a little extended and just his ability to kind of put more work into his body, I think we're going to see a more athletic Michael Porter. So I think he's going to be there. And then secondly, I really am hopeful, and maybe this is a fool's hope, I really am hopeful that he's going to be at the power forward position off the bench more. That he's going to be there stretching the court for one Russell Westbrook, and that there just might be a little bit more transition opportunity, offensive rebound opportunity, put back to opportunity, dunk opportunity.
Yeah, this one's kind of interesting because, project fewer games for Porter, so then I guess fewer minutes. That all seems fewer chances. But if that's more games off rest, if that's more games fresh, could it mean more dunks? Interesting thing to track. As much as I loved him playing 81 out of 82 games last year, I don't know if it was wise. But I respect that it was his goal, and I love that it was his goal, given everything he's been through. Makes a lot of sense. All right, so we know Michael Porter Jr. set the single-season franchise record with 223s in the regular season.
I remember that.
It actually goes all the way up to 253 if you count the playoffs.
Okay.
Higher or lower? 253 threes for Michael Porter Jr.
I'm going to go lower on this one because of games played again. Not for any other reason, for games played.
I agree.
But I do think that he's going to make them at the same rate, if not a little bit of a higher rate. I think he's going to shoot slightly better and take roughly the same amount. I actually think Michael Porter, can you get him more threes? It would be great if you can, but he's so hard to generate open threes. I think he might up his impact in other ways, offensive boards, twos, and fast break, second unit. But I think his threes are going to be right around the number that he had last year, 220 plus whatever in the playoffs. I think it's going to be close to that, but slightly below because of games.
All right. I like that. I'm really excited what you think about this next one, though. So by quarter, for every game played last season, again, including playoffs, as per Basketball Reference, here's how it broke down field goals made by quarter for Porter. In the first quarter, he made 190 field goals last season. Drops to 143 in the second.
That's a big drop, but maybe fewer minutes.
Actually back up to 149 in the third.
More minutes again because you start both halves.
107.
That's really low.
100. That's big drop off from 190 in the first quarters. Not super surprising. We know how Denver's late offense
It's rough.
goes.
It's crazy. That means it's barely over one a game, like one and a third per shots per game in the entire fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's not. Look, he's not. Plan A and B in the fourth quarter is not to find Mike. It just isn't.
Yeah.
And I think that's reflected in some of the stats Jake Coyne has shared with us, his freeze out stats. And again, this stat as well, which I found really interesting. But I'll ask you this more specifically. 107 fourth quarter field goals. Playoffs, regular season.
Yeah.
Higher or lower for Porter next season?
I think it's going to be higher. And again, this is the type of year where you get away from, we're so far removed from the season and so far from the next season that you almost start to think more in terms of what you hope than what you actually think will happen.
Totally, man.
But I'm going to be optimistic that this is a year that the team, and Michael Malone in particular, says, hey, we got to find ways to be more dynamic for Mike. And these numbers with Jamal in the fourth quarter, or I'm sorry, with Michael in the fourth quarter, just not getting touches or shots, it's something that I hope has been brought to the team's attention, even including Jokic. And it's like, hey, that's a weapon we should actually set the table with a little bit more.
Couldn't agree more, man. Couldn't agree more. So this is, I think when we ask questions like, will Michael Porter Jr. be different?
Right.
To me, it's a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Shot profile, where the shots come from, but also, these numbers in the fourth quarter.
I wonder what his highest scoring fourth quarter is. I know he's had a couple fourth quarters.
That's a great question. Chat, if you're bored and you want to look that one up. Let's go back to just regular season numbers now.
Okay.
Last year, Porter shot 39.7% from three. That's just low, man.
Yeah, it is.
And I think I chalk a lot of it up to the poor shooting out of the gate, the grade 3 ankle sprain. It feels too low to give you that number because that's an easy higher, I think. So I give you a different one.
Okay.
We'll go 41.5% from three. 41.5%. Career, Michael Porter Jr. is a 41% three-point shooter.
Okay.
Higher or lower, 41.5?
I'm going to go higher. I think that he is I just think his default setting is 42.5, 43%. And then you just factor in health and the rhythm of the offense, team, and all those different things. So I'm going to go up. If you look at it, he actually only had 1 month last year where he was above that number. It was the month of March. So, you could say that maybe this is a little bit of a wild bet, but I'm not going to. I think Michael Porter's a great shooter. I think he got a lot of rest, and I think he's going to have the table set for him. Again, I think Westbrook, even off that bench, if Michael Malone goes to him, I think he's going to get more just chances to shoot, more rhythm, more of a green light. Yeah. I think I'm going to go I honestly think he's going to shoot 42% or above from three this year.
I think a lot has to go wrong for a guy like that to shoot below 40%. And last year, a lot went wrong from three-point range, and it's 39.7. I mean, that's just the guy's a shooter, man, and I think you're right.
I think I'm most bullish on Christian and Michael Porter this year. I think those are my two guys that I just am I think they're going to be better. I'm higher on them than the average.
Love it, man. I love it. Well, let's go here then. You don't need to give me a necessarily specific number.
Bless you.
Because we have mailbag questions coming. But Porter averaged 16.7 points per game last year. 16.7 points per game. Higher or lower with KCP gone, CB in, everything else that's changed?
Higher, meaningfully higher. 18.5, 19 would be within that range. I would say 18 to 21 would be the range of what I expect. And if I were to guess, I'd say 18.5, 19.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think he was closer to that. I think even in his rookie season, he was close to that. It's really hard to have 3 20-point per game scorers. But to me, it's just always going to feel like 16.5 is leaving something on the table. Just is. I feel like he's better than that, or they could get more than that.
I see in the chat right now, Purpitch is saying that they tried to go to him, he couldn't get separation. Michael Porter is a receiver, not a running back. He can't get separation off the dribble. I don't think that's his skill set, and you can get physical with him. And that's true a little bit off ball as well. But there are things you can do running a player off ball that even if they're not getting open, occupy the defender, occupy the help side. If somebody is keeping him from getting open on a route, an off ball weak side route, right, guess what that person is doing? Being occupied by keeping the ball out of his hands, right, which is still a win. So for me, it's less. I don't think the Nuggets need to give Michael Porter the ball to dribble and stuff more. I mean, there's maybe an opportunity with Westbrook or this. We'll have to see how that evolves. But it's more about how do you use him off ball, and can you run him around a little bit more on the weak side?
I love that. And I also think Mike can help himself out with footwork discipline and the angles in which he attacks screens.
Definitely.
I think the games when Mike, Game 3 against the Lakers, Mike, for maybe more than ever in his career, in a big moment, said, I'm going to go get this ball. And it was the angles, it was how hard he was cutting, it was the way he attacked that he took the screens. And I think Mike is such a good shooter that sometimes he doesn't set his feet, but there are moments where he still had time to and he didn't. So yeah. I think there are little things like that he can help himself too in that department. Let's get a couple more quick ones. 7.0 rebounds per game last year, higher or lower?
Oh man, this one I'm gonna go the same. I think this one is the exact same. It might be. I mean, if it's higher or lower, it's gonna be within half of a rebound. I do think Denver's going to be a better rebounding team, so they might take some from him. But I also think he might play power forward more, which would gain him up. So I think in the end it comes out even.
I agree. And then career high 1.5 assists per game for Michael Porter Jr.
Same thing. Yeah, I just don't know. It's not like it's going to meaningfully change. He's not going to be a better passer or more on. I don't think that. I would love it if Mike did show more off the dribble game. I'm not buying that part of his game. I don't think he's going to have the quickness or balance or core strength to be able to be a great off the dribble player. I think guys are always going to be able to get into a space. He dribbles so high, he has high hips. I just don't think he's ever going to be great at that. So assists, you get assists by having the ball in your hand and attacking more often than not. He's not going to do that.
No third break today, Adam, which actually means we have time to finish this off. A couple more for you. These ones I think are interesting. Porter played most of his games last year, 30 to 39 minutes. 56 different games of his 81 games played. He allowed 30 to 39 minutes. 23 of those were 20 to 29. That was it. He only went over 40 minutes once.
Wow.
So let's go with the...
he should not go over 40, though, just as a rule.
Let's go with the 56 number, which is games played 30 to 39 minutes. Higher or lower?
I'm going to say... This question really is random. To me, it's more of, is Denver going to blow teams out? Because that's how you get under 30 minutes, honestly. 30 minutes is sort of a default for Michael Porter if the game is competitive. That being said, I'm going to go lower because I do think there'll be more blowouts in both directions. I think Denver might get blown out more this year. And I think they might actually blow teams out more this year. So I'm going to go under, but I don't think meaningfully. I think it'll be more or less the same rate as before.
Okay, cool. Alyssa, a little live show production for you. I sent you the doc if you don't have it. When we do mailbag, you got links for questions. Adam, here's the last question for you. Michael Porter Jr. logged 29 games with 20 or more points last season. 29 games, 20 or more points. Higher or lower?
This one I'm going higher. And I actually have more confidence in this one than I do in the point per game average. Because I would not be surprised if Michael Porter was wildly inconsistent in terms of what he is scoring. In part because his shots are so zero-sum. They either go in or don't. So it's, the variance game to game is going to be different. But I think this year we have more Porter quarters than ever. We have more 25-plus point games than ever, more 30-point games than ever, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say our first 40-point game for Michael Porter.
Oh, God, this is my favorite show ever. This is awesome.
I'm telling you, Christian and Mike are the two I'm very high on. I would say Peyton and Julian I'm probably lower on than average. And I love both of those guys, and I think they're both going to be great. I just think this next year might be slower progress than anticipated. But yeah, MPJ and Christian, I just think are set for good years. Should they stay healthy?
Villainy agrees with you that he thinks Westbrook's going to help Porter a lot. I'm curious if it plays out that way. I think that'd be a fun development. You guys also sent us some good questions about Michael Porter Jr., so we threw some of them together. Maybe some of them we've covered already. If we have, we'll just move past it. If not, we'll find another angle. Alyssa, why don't we open up the mailbag here and see what the good old friends on the interwebs are saying. This first one is Tyler Key at Tyler Robert Key. There has been much discussion about how Michael Malone ran a chunk of design plays for Julian Strawther last year. Adam, we just touched on this. What are the chances that MPJ gets more design plans for him, either with the starters or in a bench stagger?
I think he'll get more by virtue of the fact that Michael Malone's going to create more plays for Julian Strawther that naturally work as well for Michael Porter. So I think that the answer is going to be yes. I am so hopeful that David Adelman, Michael Malone, and the rest of the coaching staff will take this offseason to say, how can we change our offense? And what is what do we have as far as untapped potential? And more off-ball movement is going to be big. Here's the thing, though. For Julian Strawther, it's a lot of plays. For Mike, I hope there's a lot of plays. But I also hope that the structure of the offense changes in a way that is like, hey, I know when we ran this action, typically we would have you do this, stand in the corner. We're going to instead have you always do this or run some exchanges, run some weak side action. So it's not even just play calls. Is the offense altered in a way that gets him on the move more?
Justin at Team Blonde _ yeah. We'll just say yeah, Mike, for this one. We've talked about this already, Adam, but if you want to cook one more time, thoughts on staggering Mike with Russ, Julian, Peyton, and Saric?
Love it. It would be incredible for me personally. I think that's the way to go. You need shooting out there, and giving him Julian, Peyton, Saric, MPJ, that gives Russ enough space, in my opinion. And on top of that, I look at that and I go, what's your default offense? It's Russ clearing out and him having the ball in his hands, and he's running pick and roll. What's your secondary option? It's probably Saric as a fulcrum, but you're looking for MPJ first and foremost. Julian and him running splits action and different things. Mike moves up to number 2 in the pecking order there. Number 2 is shooter, number 3 is playmaker, which I think is a good thing. So for me, I like it. I hope that's where we arrive. I think it would be best for all people involved.
Love it. I'm Team Stagger as well there for Porter. Let's go to the next one, Alyssa, if you have it. Nuggets World. And Nuggets World wants to know, would MPJ break his current record of 223-point makes this next season? We kind of touched on it already, but if you want to just give a definitive
I just don't
answer.
think so because of how hard it is. I'm going to do 220 divided by, let's just say 69 games. Say he misses 3. He would have to make 3.2 roughly per game. That's just a lot. I mean, how you get there on fewer games is he needs to have more games, like I'm saying, where he gets to 6, 7, 8 threes. You need to have more games like that because then it makes up for the inevitable nights where you're only going to have 0, 1. So that would be the way to balance it out. But I think fewer games means 220 is probably the ceiling for him.
Okay. Well, listen, that looks really nice, by the way. Well done. Well done without much heads up. That's my bad for sure. You have touched on this one concept before. This next question here from Magic Kimura. And it's how many times do you think, who I believe is 5-5-5-5-5-ish as well. I could be wrong. How many games do you think Mike will take 10 plus threes this upcoming season?
10 plus?
Take 10 plus threes.
Well, how many times did he did it last year? Do we know off the top of our head? I can look it up. I have it right here in front of me right now. 3-point attempts,
I bet
10.
it's not that many.
How many would you guess? I'm
going to guess last year.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess he did it 5 times.
12 times.
Okay.
He took 10 or more, which is kind of a lot. I'm going to double it and say 20. I'm going to go up to 20, almost double it and say 20 games. Again, I just think that KCP's gone. They need some shooting. I think Mike eats up a lot of it. And I think the outliers are the bigger gap than the average.
Okay. I'm down for that because I've said before, they got to generate threes, man.
Yeah.
And KCP's gone. And I know that Christian Brown can hit open threes. But, are we getting enough up? I think a lot is going to fall on MPJ's shoulders this year. Yes, take that shot, actually. Yes, do take it this time, even if it's a little contested. Because the math game, across 82, the math game does matter. You will lose some games you should have won because you just didn't get enough threes up, I think.
Interestingly, 12 is the high of his career. He got 9, 6, and then 0, I believe, in the years that he's played meaningful minutes. So going up to 20 would be a lot. I'm kind of curious, though.
It'll be a fun one to track, actually. Let's go to our next question, Alyssa. And this one comes to us from Jackson Scott MO1. Is there still a world in which Michael Porter Jr. makes an all-star game before Jamal Murray? If so, out of Mares, what would that look like? And bonus points if it doesn't involve an injury.
By the way, as I'm doing more research, because that's a number I wasn't prepared for. Very rare for guys to shoot 10 or more threes. So 20 might not be right.
Yeah,
12 is actually a lot. I just looked up Kevin Herter and was trying to get a comp. He doesn't ever do it.
I'm surprised it was 12.
I know. That's a little bit more than I thought too. So maybe 15 is more of a bullish answer.
Okay.
No, I think I don't see Michael Porter being an all-star. Even I'm very optimistic about him, but I don't have him anywhere near all-star caliber player.
Yeah, I agree.
Again, I think he's more of a guy that is he's a classic third option scorer to me, and that he's a guy that every now and then will win new games, and it's damn, that's the devil we have to live with. So I think it's gonna be more of that. But to be an all-star, I mean, the reason Murray isn't is because he's not consistent. I don't think Mike's gonna be consistent that way. Not the mold, not the opportunity, not the situation.
I think this is gonna happen at all. If he averaged 23 points per game,
I still don't even know if he would make it there because you're talking about LeBron.
Yep.
Kawhi, Harden, Doncic. There's so many players at the wing spot in the West that it's hard. It's really, you have to be Kevin Durant. You have to be spectacular to beat those guys out. 23 points per game. Come on.
EL in the chat saying MPJ 3-point contest, please.
That would be nice.
I'm
take
down.
that.
Because the thing about Mike in that contest is he's either going to break the record or lose in the first round. And I honestly don't.
I'll bet you he'd be great at it. I think I would
know what it would be.
I'd pick him to be great.
All right, let's go to our next question, please. Super producer Alyssa. And this one comes to us from Clayton Napoleon. He says, Jokic and Murray are the best for sure. But if the team wins again, can it be because Aaron Gordon or even Russell Westbrook is the third best player on the team? Or does MPJ need to have a career like year? Does he need to be definitively the third best guy to get him out of this stacked Western Conference?
I honestly think Aaron Gordon is the third best player more often than not. I mean, it's not every single night. That's one of the beauties of the Nuggets. But when you talk about who's involved in more of the actions, it's Aaron Gordon. It's usually two floor spacers, and then Jokic, Murray with Aaron Gordon oftentimes either directly involved, setting part of the screens, bringing the ball up the court or whatever, or spacing it from the dunker. But defensively, he's obviously there. So, no, I think Aaron Gordon can be the third best player. It's interesting to think Aaron Gordon, because he's the oldest, barely, we don't really think about him growing as a player in any meaningful way. Yeah. And also just because he's not a skill player.
Right.
Like, I don't think his three-point shot's going to come along or anything like that.
And we saw the growth with, like, the mental stuff and changing already.
But to be fair, there still is more growth there. And I think he wore down last year. Rejuvenated and rested, he might look better this year, but no, I don't think it's crazy. Russ being the third best, I think, is a stretch. Like, I'm optimistic about him, but
I'd be shocked.
You know what? He is a former MVP, so if it does click for him here and he's healthy enough, it's possible. But I think the AG one is not only possible, but as likely as not.
Yeah, I mean, it's like his ways. Him making a big impact on any given game is less contingent upon things.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the shots fell, or oh, they passed it to me.
Yeah, he guarded his guy really well.
Yeah, he
dunked it a bunch.
Nice tertiary playmaking, a lot of dunks. Yeah, like it's just he has more paths to being a third best player on any given night. But God, would I love for Mike to just emerge as clearly that guy? Because again, 16.7 points per game to me feels like there's some left on the table. Got a few more questions left here to finish up with. Stankovic Burner wants to know, will Mike average 20 this year? We said it's possible, Adam, but will it happen?
No. 20 is possible, but I think that for me, par is probably 17, maybe 17.3.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the over by a lot and buy it up to like 18.3. But 20, you're starting to get really far away from that and saying, like, now he's having a spectacular year. I don't see that, so I'm going to say no.
I agree. I think we'd maybe get that once ever in Porter's Nuggets tenure, and I just don't think it would happen this year.
By the way, he has the same thing with Murray, and it makes more sense as a shooter because, like, Steph Curry, for a great player and an all-time great scorer, has more games at, like, 20 points or 18 points than, say, Jokic or, something like that. Just because the nature of three-point shooting is some nights you're cold. But to me, Porter will have some games that are like 6, 7, 8, 9 points. And that weighs down your average so much.
Agreed.
I think he's going to have more games over 20 than ever before, but will only average maybe a point more.
All right, that's a nice segue into our next question. KCP is gone, says Lucky Knight. And with that in mind, do we expect Porter to have similar shot attempts, or does he have to raise his volume scoring given that KCP is gone?
I think a little bit because KCP's gone, but I think a little bit just because he's good enough to take more shots.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that. So I think more than anything, if I'm buying this idea that Porter's scoring is going to rise and that his outlier games are going to rise, it mostly has to do with the fact that I think he will get more non-Jokic minutes, and in those minutes, he'll get more shot attempts. So he'll probably play mostly the same way with Jokic. I hope there's more off-ball movement, but I think he'll play more when he's not with Jokic in a different elevated role.
All right, let's get one more in here before we leave, and that'll be a fun question from our favorite extraterrestrial commenter here, Bill Zienball. Where would a team of 5 MPJs place in a tournament where every team is 5 clones of each individual nugget?
So this is a great question. I think there's like 400 and something players in the NBA, 480 or something. I think 5 MPJ team would probably rank around 400th. Really, really, really bad. Because Michael Porter, more than most NBA players, is totally unbalanced. Great shooting. You're going to have some great one-on-one scoring. Don't think you're going to have great team defense, point of attack defense, rim protection. I don't think you're going to have great passing and ball handling and everything else. So I actually think he is down there. Like, even just on the Nuggets, would you take a team of 5 MPJs or 5, what would you say, like Christian Browns?
Christian Browns, for
like,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you just have, you're going to have defense, you're going to have physicality, and you'll have ball handling.
The ball movement's fun, too. Just like Mike open, but Mike won't pass to Mike. That's some good stuff. Good question.
I love Mike. He's just he's not a multi-tool.
No, he's.
He has a specific purpose.
You don't want 5 mics. I agree. Let's finish with some super chats. And
Wonder
they're
who it is.
from Mr. Exquisite Nugget. MPJ hot take, please rate 25.3 points per game, 5 peppers, 12.6 rebounds per game, 8.0 assists per game.
Hold on, prime Jokic. He has prime Jokic numbers.
100 million peppers, Cedric. Every pepper you've ever seen in your life. The hottest peppers, the brightest peppers, all of them. No vote, I don't hate kale. When is Eric back?
Eric's not back for a while. I'm not going to lie.
All right. I also don't believe you. Leave kale alone. Just kidding, Cedric. And this is from the Exquisite Nugget, not to be confused with Mr. Exquisite Nugget. Forget All-Star, second best starter, and MIP for MPJ. That's actually, I think...
No, it's 5 peppers.
It's not going to happen. No. It's not going to happen. But I'm saying it's a much closer conversation than like MVP stuff. Or All-Star.
The part about analyzing the Nuggets is I don't think they're going to be that different in those key areas like Murray, Jokic. You know, you're hoping that Murray gets it together and it's just great from the start and everything elevates. But the truth is he's probably going to be 5% better or worse. Jokic, same thing, 5% better or worse than he was last year. And MPJ, 5% better or worse than he was last year. Aaron Gordon, same thing. The guys that really have a chance for real potential changes is Christian Brown, Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson, and then, of course, Dario Saric and Russell Westbrook, who we just don't know, what to expect. But the core 4, I think we know what we get from them, more or less.
I really feel like you said this at the start of the show. We've rounded all the way back into. We're excited to see our boys hoop.
Yeah,
excited to see our boys hoop. What will we see from MPJ this season? More of the same, growth in the specific areas they need, higher volume. We'll find out together. Thanks for asking together. What a treat, guys! Great chat today, and we'll talk to you tomorrow here in the Toyota Lounge.
Adios.
We all silly like the mayor.